So, I want to do a video on 5G. I do think uh, radiation is being used as a weapon, multifaceted, multi-layered weapon, both radiologically to induce stress responses, um, including the formation of cancers, including bone cancers. Um, So I think that 5G could target people and induce sickness, including psychological stress, and eventually manifesting into the symptoms of chronic stress, like chronic inflammation, chronic pain, disease. So I do think that technology exists. I do think it's weaponized. The second layer is the data collection and the exploitation of data. So the information collected by 5G is probably just as dangerous as the radiological effects, maybe more so, um, depending on not how easily you're manipulated, but how easily you're manipulated into action. If you're just manipulated but you're a lump, it's not action. It doesn't manifest into a movement in the real world, so it has no real meaning. But um, if the data collected or data input manipulates the behavior, then it's definitely a weapon. So, a weapon against you, you know. So that's the truth. It's a weapon against you. And yeah, that's 5G in my opinion. As far as your ability to access information quickly, that's the dual purpose, right? So the dual purpose that gives it legitimacy is your consent through its use to access information or to share information, and and that gives it its legitimacy. So the way I see it, like, it's definitely a weapon. It's not no question, but its dual purpose um, is what gives us, and that's the way it is with a lot of stuff. But a lot of stuff isn't a targeted weapon. Like a lot of stuff that's potentially dangerous that's in the free market isn't put in the free market, in my opinion, with the intention to do harm. The intention behind it is um, the functional purpose, and then the potentiality for harm is a second afterthought. I think it's kind of the opposite with 5G. I think 5G is rolling out with the intention to do harm, um, first and foremost, and the dual purpose as a secondary cover. So that's my opinion of 5G. Now, the counter argument to that is okay, well, if you can't survive that, then basically you're not fit to survive the modern world. So, okay, there's actually an argument for that. And eventually, if we're going to be living in space, that's true. Like, we need to adapt with some radiation protection, right? And it makes sense. Um, but if it's targeted, where does it end with the evolution, the imposed evolution of ultimately unknown future? I mean, we could go into a dark age. It could go into a solar minimum. It could get real cold. It could. I'm a global warming guy, big time. But anything's possible. So it's true. Anything's possible. And, you know, so where does it end as far as the imposed evolution of you must be exposed to increasing, frequencies and power intensities, or it's your fault if you get cancer because you're weak. Well, the way I see it, that argument is a justification for war, for radiological and information war, where you can target anyone, with impunity, because they're soft. You know, as long as you don't physically make contact with them, you gotta toughen them up. It's gonna be a hot future. So, or if that's their argument, then the counter argument is, of course, well, then they're vulnerable to the same level of induced stress. And no matter how tolerant you think you are, how cool cucumber, trust me, there's a level in which your brain lights on fire. So I'm pretty sure before that, there's a point where you get angry. It's just physics, So yeah, that's 5G. I think it's a stressor. I think it's engineered to be a stressor. I think it's engineered to be a targeted stressor and a targeted data collector. Power harvesting robots. Who needs them? You can hit your customers to plug in your data harvesting robot. So, you know, that's it.